So now we're going to get into the main event. Miss Adeola, she is on the line today. I'm going to get into her slide, then I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can have some FaceTime you all can really see. So my first question is, give us a little bit about what your transition into law was, as far as like the schooling that you had to, get under your belt to call yourself a lawyer, and how you transitioned from school or what you were doing previously into law.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for being here. Kudos to all of you being here this evening. This is really the first step on whatever journey you have, is dedication. And so clearly you all are being here, and so you're dedicated. So kudos to you on that. My background actually is pretty interesting because I actually started out wanting to be a doctor. So let me take it back to high school. In high school, I wanted to be a doctor, but I was also really good at public speaking. And I was in mock trial and I did really well. I got like awards for being like top defense attorney and all of that stuff. But even when I went to undergrad at Spelman, I started off as a bio major. And so I think the interesting thing about college is when you get there, that's when you realize kind of like what you want to do and what your passion is. And so I switched over to political science, and I had a minor in women's studies. And, I took the exams, applied for law school, went to Cornell for law school. And I went to law school and I got my JD with a concentration in international legal affairs. At the time I thought there's two things I wanted to do. I was passionate about real estate, but I was also passionate about international law. And Cornell has a really strong program. So that's why I wanted to go there. And so, after you take your classes, your third year, you take the bar exam, and then you start working. And so I started working in commercial litigation. I actually wanted to start in real estate, but the market was down when I got out. So basically they weren't hiring any attorneys on the real estate side. And so I started in commercial litigation, which is basically kind of what you see when you go to court, but technically when you're in like the corporate world, most people want to stay out of court because it's expensive. So don't believe everything you see on TV, although it does give you some context.
We talked a lot, Adeola, about like some overarching things, some macro level things. I want to kind of get into the micro, into like the day-to-day, the nitty-gritty. So you even talked about how today you went to work today, right? And did your whole lawyer thing today. And then now you're on the call with us. Thanks. But then your other activities like pulling together the networking events, that, is something that you do in the evenings, because we're, like the networking events are probably like after work kind of things. So can you take us through, I know there might not be an average day, but can you give us some of the day-to-day responsibilities that you have in balancing both like your day job and the career in law and the other things that you do, like, pulling together the networking events, like the different things that entail making, your job and everything else happen?
Yeah, no, I think the great thing is, after you get to a certain point in your career, there's a certain level of mastery. So it's not as like hard to figure out what you're doing because you already know what you're doing. So essentially for me, I have a team now. So when I wake up, I think, spiritual and mental health is important. So I wake up, I work out, I'll connect with my team via like WhatsApp or email. We have like a whole project management sheet for our events. And let me say, like at the beginning of the year, we already know the dates of the events. So we're already starting to pick the speakers, we're talking to the sponsors, we're talking to the people that are going to be participating. And so I work out, talk to the team, get to work. On my lunch break, I may take a call or two, definitely check in again with the team. After work, check in again with the team, and then do whatever work I need to do for the business as well. And that can easily go up to 12 a.m., but I'm on a curfew now. So I make myself like go to sleep at 11 at the latest.
Like, these are some amazing things that you have on your resume. And so, as you've come to share, those things and talk about your story and how they, they've been building for a while, share with us some challenges, because it must be challenging to, have a situation where what you need doesn't exist. So then you have to go create it. So help us understand, like, maybe some things that you had to overcome to where now you can say, you know, these things exist because these were ideas at first.
Yeah, you know, I think the interesting thing is I'm a big proponent of anything you want, write it down. And so when the conference was over, to be honest, I even forgot when I first wrote like the note to myself. I write all these notes to myself on my phone because I'm like, if I don't write this idea down right now, I'm going to forget. And I looked at it and I said, wow, like I had the idea for this conference in 2017 and I didn't implement it till 2019, but I had already been doing the groundwork, right? Building relationships with people in the industry, meeting people. And I think the thing to overcome is just the fear of doing it, really. I mean, that's not my personality per se. I'm very big on, I prefer to do it than to regret not doing it, if it's something I really want to do. And every year I kind of do an assessment and say, you know, this thing has been on my list of life goals for how long? Either I'm going to do it or I'm going to cross it off the list. And if I feel like I don't want to cross it off the list, that means I have to do it.